I feel that we at Second Baptist Church have a special connection with Blind Boone, not just because his house happens to be next door to the church, but many churches in the African American community benefited by his philanthropy. He was very faithful and very giving financially to many of the churches here, and we are also a recipient of his generosity. There are stories of the concerts that he would give here during the Christmas season that were always well attended and very much anticipated in the black community. And so it's very easy to feel those spirits in this historic sanctuary and to imagine him playing the piano here for those audiences, many of whom did not have an opportunity to see other entertainers, performers, concert performers in professional venues, but they could come to church and hear this man play who had traveled all over the country and whose work was well known right back at home, and listen to him play. And the spirituals, the classical music, were just as important, if not more so, than the ragtime music that he created. And so we feel very fortunate that we are intimately connected with the history and the legacy of his music. As you know, the land that this church is built on was donated by John Lang, and so we are grateful for him as well. In fact, we're very proud of the fact that his name appears on one of the stained glass windows in the sanctuary.
Another historical note of importance is the fact that Blind Boone was the very first performer to introduce spirituals to the formal concert stage. In fact, he would open every one of his concerts with a spiritual, and he would rag them. I mean, some of the most beautiful spirituals are so delightful when the rhythm is changed to this moving. Syncopation makes you want to move, and to move with spirituals is a very special experience. For the John William Boone Ragtime and Early Jazz Festival, we keep the Boone tradition alive and begin every one of our concerts with a spiritual. That's a distinctiveness that I learned from Terry Waldo, and he learned it from U.B. Blake. Terry was U.B. Blake's protege, and learned from U.B. that one more historical first for our John William Blind Boone was the introduction of spirituals to the concert stage.
When they crucified my Lord, were you there when they crucified my Lord? Sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they nailed him to the tree? Were you there when they nailed him to the tree? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they nailed him to the tree?
He's beloved in our town among people who know and understand what he did, what he contributed to American music. But there's a far wider circle than just mid-Missouri that has an understanding of his talents. And he's a scribe in the sense, a musical, historical scribe.
Well, I think that Blind Boone, being born during the Civil War, 1864, was very close to when spirituals were still very fresh in everyone's mind, and his mother, a former slave. And I think he must have felt very close to the words of the spirituals as he grew up, that the words and the meaning of a message of all the spirituals was the message of hope, and that one day freedom would come, and that things would be righted and justice would come. And I think Blind Boone must have lived that during his lifetime as he grew up and became an adult, that the spirituals were just part of him because of when he was born and how fresh they were in everyone's mind, and how people must have felt that truly the message of the spirituals of freedom coming and justice and everything being righted had finally come when the war ended and when freedom was given.
There is a centrality to the origins of true American music in our state, and a specific leader is John William Blind Boone, and it's his life and his abilities that we're attempting to communicate through the medium of the restoration of his home. It will be the platform by which we tell the story of American music through the genius of John William Blind Boone.
And one thing about Blind Boone that I think is very important is he is such an inspiration to anyone, because he came from nothing really, and well, actually you couldn't say nothing, but anyway, he was blinded at 6 months, and that didn't stop him. As he grew up, he had to make his way in life, and his mother was such a good help to him, and make his way, and then people in the community helped him, but he was always there surviving, kind of like the spirituals do, the message of the spirituals, and he never gave up, and he also had such a positive attitude. Everybody who has written about him talks about what a positive attitude he had, and how he met people with such pleasantness, and thought the best of them. And I think that everyone alive today can take a lesson from Blind Boone. Yes, his music, yes, him as a composer, yes, him as a pianist, yes, him as an innovator, first one to do player piano music on the piano, lots of firsts, but also him as a person, and that we can take lessons on how to be a good person.